Coming up on UGTV. Board of Commission meeting of the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas.
Roll call. Kane.
Here.
Markley.
Here.
Walters.
Here.
Philbrook.
Here.
Bynum.
Here.
Townsend.
Here.
McKiernan.
Here.
Ramirez.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Burrows.
Here. This evening, the invitation is being given by Sister Teresa Sanger of Our Lady of St. Rose Catholic Church. I ask you to please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
It's a special gift to pray with you this evening. I'm going to share a song from my church family, Our Lady St. Rose. This song has been a comfort to me as I advocate in Topeka, especially the continued struggle to expand Medicaid. Its words seem appropriate for this time in our UG community and our country. And the words: mountains are still being moved. Strongholds are still being loosed. God, we believe, and yes, we can see that wonders are still what you do. We are here for you. Come and do what you do. We are here for you. Come and do what you do. Bodies are still being raised. Giants are still being slayed. God, we believe, and yes, we can see that wonders are still what you do. We are here for you. Come and do what you do. So tonight, loving, healing God, we give you our belief and our unbelief. We lift the needs of our community and our country and cry out to you to protect us, to shield us, especially the most vulnerable, the elderly, the children, the immigrants, and those who are incarcerated across the street. Help us to listen to what you, God, want us to learn and want us to do during this time. I ask that you give these leaders the wisdom to speak and act for the good of all members of this community. I pray in the name of our brother Jesus the healer. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank Sister Sanger for providing the invitation this evening. After the mission, thank you, Sister. Next, I'll ask the clerk to bring your witness tonight's agenda.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, the blue sheet has been distributed. Under the mayor's agenda, item number 1 has been deleted. It was the presentation regarding the police department awards. Under section 10, the administrator's agenda, that item has been revised. It's been revised to a discussion regarding the proposed stormwater rate transition.
Thank you. At this time, I would ask Administrator Bach to read a note from the mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. The mayor's recommended the stormwater rate adjustment be tabled at this time. He did ask me to read the following statement. I feel that this further discussion is vitally important. We as a governing body must get to a place where we all understand and can explain to our constituents the scope of the deterioration of our stormwater infrastructure across all areas of our city. We need to get to a place where we understand and can explain to our constituency the urgency of addressing the deterioration before failures increase and create greater risk to the safety and welfare of our residents, or even greater damage to private property to our budget. We need to get to a place where we all agree and can explain to our constituents the need to allocate cost of our stormwater utility based upon the amount of hard surface a property contains. We need to get to a place where we all agree and make the case to our constituents that we increase rates because we understand that our responsibility is to take care of our utility as a public service to our residents and businesses. We need to get to a place where we balance the urgency of repairs to our stormwater utility with the cost to users of that utility, so that we do not increase our risk in the future, but do not overburden users. As a commission, we are not at that place, and will be devoting more special sessions to each of these needs over the course of the year. We need to engage this issue, and we need to engage our public, and we need to move forward to invest in this utility for the sake of our residents and businesses across the city.
Thank you, Administrator Bach. Appreciate that. Eddie, you want me to ask you if there's any questions? There probably shouldn't be.
Is that a motion from the mayor?
Yes.
Second?
There's been a motion and a second. I would ask the clerk to please call roll.
Roll call, Kane. Barkley.
Aye.
Walters. Philbrook.
Aye.
Bynum.
Aye.
Townsend.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye. Thank you, Administrator Bach. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Does any member of the commission or the county administrator wish to set aside any item on the consent agenda? If an item is not set aside, all items on the consent agenda will be voted on by one vote.
Move to approve all as submitted? Second.
There's been a motion and a second. I would ask the clerk, call roll.
Roll call, Kane. Markley.
Aye.
Walters. Philbrook.
Aye.
Bynum.
Aye.
Townsend.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
The vote is 10-0. That motion carries.
Item number 1 has been tabled due to the motion that was made, so we will now, do you want to make any other additional comments? No. Okay, well, we'll move on to the other part of the agenda this evening. And are there any other comments or questions from the commission before we move on? Seeing none, that concludes our regular portion of the regular meeting. That concludes a portion of our regular meeting, and I adjourn us in the capacity. I will call us back to order as the Land Bank Board of Trustees. Does any member of the commission or county administrator wish to set aside any item in the Land Bank consent agenda? If an item is not set aside, all items on the consent agenda will be voted on by one vote.
Move. Second?
There has been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, I would ask clerk call roll.
Roll call, Kane. Markley. Walters. Philbrook.
Aye.
Bynum.
Aye.
Townsend.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
The vote is 10-0. That motion carries.
Thank you, commission members and members of the public. That concludes our meeting for this evening. I'd like to thank you all for your attendance and your patience with the Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you.